Everybody, here we go. We got week 3 showdown, 49ers, Giants. Now, everyone's thinking that this is going to be quite the blowout. I wouldn't blame you. Um, we saw the Giants last time we saw them in prime time. They did not play very well. A couple of injuries of note. We got Saquon Barkley is out. He will not play tonight. So it'll be Matt Breida as the quote unquote starting running back. And then we've also got Brandon Ayuk dealing with a little AC joint sprain. Can't do any more damage to it. He is a game time decision. I don't know if the Niners necessarily need to play him a whole bunch, but here we are. So if we're just looking at kind of ownership kind of across the board here, the ownership is going to go way up on Matt Breida. I have some other sites projecting him as the 5th highest owned player on the slate. That the models just really haven't accounted yet for, I think, a lot of people building and running some lineups. So he's going to be in there. Matt Breida tonight is going to be a full fade for me. I'm going to check back. If he stays around, I just can't imagine him staying around 18% ownership. I really cannot. So he's somebody I definitely have some interest in. 49ers defense. Obviously, they're going to be very highly owned. I think that, because they're going to be so high owned, I think that the main play would be to play them in the captain slot. If you're going to play them, that would be my opinion. Brock Purdy, I think, is a very solid play. I think he could have a nice. Daniel Jones is a guy who is going to run around a little bit. I think that he is probably one of my preferred players when I'm building like a 4-2 or like a 5-1 lineup. Yeah, we're not getting any custom lineups right now, so we're just going to have to build it all ourselves, which is fine. I'll post some updates on Twitter. Follow me at JJ McIntosh. For some optimals that are popping up. Ownership update too on this by reloading the sim. Let's run the sims. As always, I love this tool. We're just using the standards for right now while I do the show. I'm going to go back and put some inputs in. I don't really want to. I like to just kind of go off of and do a first look off of what the computer's giving me right away. So again, we're showing Daniel Jones as positive leverage. I think that's a great call. A lot of people are not going to play him. I think he really lines out as a nice captain. So if you are going to do like a 5-1 San Francisco build, I think that Jones projects as a really nice captain. Waller, I think, is going to have a tough night tonight. Just not a big fan of what he's been doing against defenses like this. Paris Campbell is a guy who's, if you guys watched the Niners game last week, I don't think he's the player that Pua Nakua is, but he runs that slot, that short A dot. He's not gonna be running downfield targets, but the Giants just are gonna have a hard time protecting Daniel Jones to give him the time to throw the ball downfield to their deep threats. And they have some guys in Slayton and Hyatt that can run the ball deep. I personally think Paris Campbell is one of my favorite plays on the slate tonight. He projects out great. Another guy right above him, if you're just looking for a flyer, Wan'Dale Robinson, if he is active, I have a lot of interest in playing him just based on the fact that if this is going to turn into a blowout, I would expect Daboll to get some of these younger guys like Wan'Dale, who has had some injury issues, a little bit of run. So if you need to go down that far, I don't think you need to based on the builds that I've been kind of playing around with. But he's a guy that you would probably want to look at for real nice cost savings. I every once in a while you get these at least once a year, we get these George Kittle spike weeks. Okay. For whatever reason, they seem to happen on primetime slates. And I think that tonight is the night for that. If you look at George's ownership, I mean, I think this is way too low You can see he's on the positive leverage side. I love playing him as a captain at 6,600. I would rather play George Kittle over Waller and Breda. There's nothing I'm really looking forward to as far as that goes. And then we'll go from there. Other than that, I mean, that's really it. It's one of those things where there's a few other guys. Obviously, Debo and McCaffrey are going to be the kind of the smash spots. I think you can get weird a little bit and play more Brock Purdy. And kind of go that way with it. I really like getting some of Jake Moody in here, the Niners kicker. I think he's going to be pretty popular. But again, if this ownership stays consistent with George Kittle at 17%, man, that's just going to be a massive uplift. Some of the other guys, if you really want to take some dart throws, you could play Daniel Bellinger, and if it is a blowout, maybe he gets in there more. I think that Ray McLeod, especially if Brandon Ayuk does not play tonight, is really interesting. He's not going to step in and play Brandon's role specifically, but he is a guy that last year they did involve him in the offense a little bit. And it was just big plays. But on a showdown slate, when we're restricted to one game, that's something that I definitely have some interest in. So if you need to go all the way down, I'd say Wandale and Ray McLeod are kind of my two favorite guys. My favorite captains tonight are going to be Daniel Jones, George Kittle. I'm obviously going to have some exposure, but I really like the San Francisco defense. If I'm playing them, I'm just going to prioritize getting them into the captain spot. And kind of going from there, because a lot of people are going to be playing them, I think. I am going to have a fair amount of exposure as well to Elijah Mitchell. I think that playing McCaffrey and Mitchell in the same lineup is a really viable option for tonight's slate. I don't know if I like playing both kickers. I think if I'm just going to play kicker, I'd rather just play Moody. Graham Gano, okay. I think the Giants score, a couple of touchdowns. They're going to be longer touchdowns. The Niners are a little bit more susceptible to big plays like that. And that's really what I got for tonight, guys. I think the Niners win pretty sizably, but I do think that the Giants are going to score some points. I really, after playing around with it, I like the 4-2 Niners builds. But look, if you think that, for whatever reason, this is going to be a flop or the Giants are going to score some more, I like some of the 3-3 builds, the even builds that I got to so far. Thank you all. Good luck. Don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, review the podcast. We really appreciate it. Follow us all on Twitter. It's scrolling down the bottom there. Peace.